Good afternoon and welcome to Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. And I am your host, Tracy Howcrombie. And I would like to just welcome everyone to a podcast that is about self care, mental health awareness, and we encourage, inspire, and empower listeners on how to create wellness, overcome negative thinking, and develop healthier mindset strategies. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing well. And I just wanted to talk to you today about self care effectiveness. And I'm excited about this, which I'm always excited about a lot of things, but I'm excited about this because everything I share with you is something that I'm either pondering on or something that I've discovered. And I just wanted to always make it a point to share my experiences with others. And this one particular is just how we can be more effective in trying to take care of ourselves in self care. So, in my research and in my experiencing with this topic, self care, first of all, is defined as an active practice of seeing to your own physical and mental health needs. Particularly, it suggests during a stressful event or after a stressful event. But what I found out is that self care is something that you actively have to plan rather than is something that just happens. Because things that just happen, we may not know what to do for ourselves in that moment. So we just want to make sure that we're having some effective preventative measures that can become a part of our regular routine. So, having routines, what I found, helps me to reduce anxiety. It helps to reduce depression. It also can increase your energy. And I like the part about it improves happiness. And anything that I can do to help me reduce stress, I'm all for it. So, there are many misconceptions, though, many misconceptions about self care. And I found out that people, and myself is included, that we tend to think that self-care is costly or that it's time consuming. And we may think it's only necessary when we've reached or experienced burnout. But what I found out that that's not true, because a lot of times that we're in our moments of whether it's praise or whether it's just thankfulness or whether we're just being grateful. Those are just self care things that we're doing internally or mindfully that we don't even really think that we're doing. And guess what? That was all free. We didn't have to do anything expensive or elaborate. We was just at that moment in time, just being in a mode of thankfulness and gratefulness. So that's just a little bit about too how I came to realize this is not uh, a cost for that. There is not a cost for that. So what I guess that means for me is priceless. And that's what it means to you. It can become priceless, the things that we can do. So with the misconceptions about it, we may also think, seem to think that we need these lavish vacations or spa treatments or to schedule something that we have to do when again a lot of things that we do for ourselves just in the now is priceless. We can't schedule it. You just have to integrate it into your everyday habits. So, disclaimer, I'm not against lavish vacations. I did not say don't have a vacation. I did not say don't go to the spa. What I'm saying is you have to figure out what rejuvenates you. That's what I want you to understand. What leaves you feeling refreshed or recharged. And what I guess I want to stress more than not that We just need to figure out something that we can do for ourselves in the now, because all the things that we may need to do for as our spas, for as our vacations, that's scheduling, that's future tense. So when you're in that moment for self-care, how can we just continuously integrate that into our daily routine? So that's where I'm going with this. So we know that could be cooking. Some people love to cook. They may try different recipes. That's integrating a part of your self care, because that might be like, I love to cook. So I'm going to just go get all my produce, just shopping for that refreshes me. That leaves me feeling recharge perhaps, or if you're at the grocery store, that can be a little bit stressful sometimes. So you just have to find the balance and what will rejuvenate you. So just knowing that some things that you love to do always helps in that. So you might cook, you might uh bake. Some people love baking and they're more refreshed or happier when they're doing things like that. Your garden. I know for some in Midwest and up north right now, that's not the time for the gardening season. So, to be outside more, to be in your garden or tending to your flowers or planting things. You know, my my biggest self-care is the tub and my candles or my diffuser with my aromas. I can spend hours in the tub. I just ran that water in there. So it was not expensive or a costly thing for me to do. You're just in your home. All this stuff is accessible to you right there. I play my record player. I listen to my music. So you could do all these things now. And if you're waiting until you have enough time or enough money, that's when you might have to postpone some of your self care, because you don't have the time, or you might think you need to go away to have a getaway. You can get away right in your home. You can create those spaces. You can create those moments. We can implement it effectively right in the now with some of the things that we're doing in our everyday routine. So, what I did find out that people suggest that time is the main reason that they don't practice self-care. So, I've discovered it does not have to take hours. We could take 15 or 30 minutes in our day to just breathe or just to reflect on our mindfulness. We can just integrate that into our day naturally, where it won't seem like a chore. Anything I've discovered that seems like a chore, I'm less likely to do, to be honest with you. I'm less likely to do it if it seems like it's a chore. And sometimes for me, and maybe some can agree, that can be exercise. Sometimes if I'm at home to get in my car and go to the gym, that seems like a chore. So I'm less likely to do that, or to do something that I have to go out of my comfort zone to do. So, how can we continuously integrate these things into our daily routine? So, or we need to find time to do or to plan these things. So, I had to create a way that I could become less stress about doing things and organically, you know, interweave it into my lifestyle. So that's kind of what it's all about. How can we get these things into our lifestyles, without us having to feel like we have so much to do, and how can we add this to our plate? So I realize we live in a world that glorifies production, you know. So with this production, we can sometimes become overloaded, you know, and we feel overworked and we feel burnt out. And we just need to know it's not selfish when we start thinking about, I need to take care of myself, you know. We don't want to have to wait till something happens to us to think about this. So, knowing that we don't want to become sick, you know, we have to commit to changing our behaviors. So, and finding a way to act on how we can do things to regenerate ourselves. We can make little adjustments. So, making little adjustments simply could be like decluttering your space or adjusting your work schedule or maybe your routines that you have at home, incorporating help to that, you know, saying no. I don't know why that comes up in every conversation, and it's like every day of my life, you implementing saying no to non-essential requests. Because again, if you're tending to your self-care and thinking about the things that's going to help you stay rejuvenated, refreshed, and recharged, that means you can't add any more to what you're already doing. So sometimes you're going to have to say no to non-essential requests, and we know that we got to take small steps, but commit to integrating self care into your day. So, again, mine's is just moments of prayer or thankfulness or just that breath that you need or just something you think on that is wonderful and beautiful and amazing to you. It can be a memory or anything. You know, I think about my son often, and it some of the memories are so beautiful that it makes me smile. So I'm on the side of smiling about our memories instead of thinking of moments that could make me feel sad. So those are all the things that, you know, I can do, but we're just trying to see how we all can get to a point of integrating these things into our own everyday routines. So over time, you will find your own rhythm and your routine on how you can do that. But one thing all research suggests is we have to develop our plan for that. Develop a self-care plan. You know, I read an article in Very Well Mind, and it suggests that if you're going to access your needs, you make a list of the different parts of your life, you know, and the major activities that you engage in every day. And with that list, you consider your stressors. You know, you're thinking about the aspects of these areas that causes your stress and consider some ways you might need to address them. With your self-care plan, you're always thinking about how you can be bettering your day, how you can be better for yourself, and make your plan effectiveness a routine. So, when you're considering your strategies on how you can rejuvenate and recharge, you know, thinking about the activities you can do that can help you feel better in the areas of your life that needs them, you know, everything can be better for you when you're building your healthier connections and you're building your healthier activities, or you're thinking about, you know, your plans, that you may have to say, I have to plan for these challenges, you know, when you're discovering things that you're neglecting in a certain aspect of your life, you have to create a plan for change. So for some of us, that could be your family. You know, you have to create a better plan because your work is so demanding that your spouse may be neglected, or your children may be neglected, or you may be neglecting yourself. So within that plan, you're just incorporating routines where you can take these strategies and place them in this proper perspectives so that everyone wins. You win because you're rejuvenating and recharging and refreshing yourself. They win because they're getting the best of you whether it's your spouse, your family, or all the things that are so demanding to us in our everyday life. So, again, I talked about taking your small steps. You don't have to tackle everything at once. You can just take one small thing and begin care for yourself that way. So, again, if you needed to schedule hypothetically your spa treatment, that is just one thing that you say, hey, once a month, I'm going to schedule this on this day. I'm going to go take care of myself in this way. And in the meantime, in my now moments and my everyday living, what are you doing for yourself up to that day? It doesn't have to be costly. Again, that's something that you can just think of that rejuvenates, refreshes, and recharges you. Again, I have rewards at Bath and Body Works. And when I say I have every candle, every scent, because that rejuvenates me, that refreshes me. Since burning my candles again, for me, soaking in the tub, for me, listening to music and just laying still and being quiet for a while. You know, we schedule time to focus on our own needs. So even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't feel like it, and it seems like a chore, just squeeze in a little bit of time. We continuously want to make ourselves a priority and we start caring for all aspects of our life, we'll find that we're better able to operate more effectively and efficiently. You know, it's just one thing to think about ourselves, you know, um, and there's just so many aspects of who you are and what you need. So let us even define and dissect. So everything has to be self-reflected because we know each need for every individual is different. So how you would take care of yourself is going to be very differently how you're going to just try to take care of everyone else, whether, like I said, be your spouse, your children. Everyone would need something different from you, but know that your focus, when you can get a moment, incorporate how you're going to think about yourself, whatever it is. Whether you say, hey, I just like to go for this long walk in the park. I just felt like walking the other day. I thank God that I was able to get out and I could talk to him. And just to drive alone in your stillness and in your moments, just the scenery sometime. This is all priceless and is self-care. It wasn't a lavish thing to do. It wasn't an expensive thing to do. And everything was just all well with my soul in those points and in those moments. But I always like to leave with quotes, and I have a few that can continuously encourage and inspire you. Um, it's one by Sophia Loren, and it's about your self care. Beauty is how you feel inside, and it reflects in your eyes. It's not something physical. So, everything that we feel inside that's beautiful to us, I even like shopping for things. I love very eclectic pieces. So, anything that's beautiful to me, I have it all over my home. It doesn't always have to match. I just may go shopping just to uh, touch the tangible things or look upon something so beautiful and amazing that inspires me, or this again just refreshes my soul and rejuvenates me. So we need to also know in this quote, which I thought was pretty amazing, and it's by Jonathan Van Ness. Self-care is the non-negotiable. That's the things that you have to do. And beauty is a thing that can be the benefit of the self care. Beauty is not the point, though. Beauty is just a cute side effect from self care. So it's making something and creating something beautiful that we're just doing in the moment just for us. And I'm so thankful that in understanding myself more. I like to share with people and my listeners because in that I know if I'm searching for things and we're always talking about these things in groups and amongst peers and friend girls groups and sister girl groups and you know uh sister church groups. It's just all kind of groups that we're constantly and even just our uh just family groups. It's just not about women. Men are also getting into their self-care. So men, if you're listening, I don't want you to always feel left out when we're talking about things. My husband has his routines, and I'm so thankful as a male he's looking into who he is and what he wants to do for himself. His mindfulness. We wake up both in the morning and some self care things we do together. We meditate in the mornings, we read our word in the morning, we'll listen to that actively together. Um, our self-care may just be when we go in the kitchen and he may cook one thing and I cook another, but that's cooking and we're sharing that in that moment, and we're at home and we're in peace and we're feeling recharged and rejuvenated in that moment. And that's refreshing because we've done a beautiful exchange of peace. So a lot of times it's just the peace that resonates, that gives us the beauty in our self-care, and that's effective to us. It's the peace, you know. So we need to just find out how can we continuously integrate that into our everyday life. What is peaceable? What is beneficial for you? What keeps you striving and going and that keeps you smiling and happy? That's contagious. I love that about the life that I live. You want to be at peace, you want to be smiling. And all of this is about who you are yourself. And it's just a beauty that radiates, when we're rejuvenated and we're refreshed. We just get that from the inside and it has to come out. And it passes on to where, how could someone be or feel depressed around you when you've taken care of yourself and you're feeling recharged and you have that energy? You have that recharge that you could just, the is it's like it's kinetic. You can give it off to people. And we have so many other things that we can respond to. And Amy Poehler said something in a quote. She said, people are their most beautiful when they're laughing, dancing, playing, telling the truth, and being chased in a fun way. And it's just a real everlasting thing that lives in our lives. It's in our attitudes, it's in our actions, and it lives in everything we do for ourselves and for others. So if we're learning how important it is to have an effective routine for self-care, make it an effective routine that's not costly. Again, that's not timely. We don't have to spend a lot of time or money on things that are priceless, things that we could just do for ourselves to reduce stress. Don't worry about uh, what everyone else may be doing. It's good to take some things that may work for some people, but everything does not work for everyone. Just know that. Your self care plan, if you create one, can be designed specifically for you. You don't have to do what someone else is doing. I love exercising, but my form of exercising when I do particularly, I wish I could just kickbox every day, so that might not be something someone else may love to do. I'm not a runner. I have a girlfriend that's an avid runner, and that's her self care. That's her moments where she spends her time in recharging and refreshing and rejuvenating herself. I'm not the runner. I don't want to run. So that wouldn't be my choice for my self care um, rejuvenation. So find out what works for you. People can make the suggestions on what they do, and you might take it into consideration, or you might even join them on some of their things that they do, and that's okay too. But it's also okay to recognize that if that was something that they do that's good for them, and that's something that you just don't enjoy doing, just let them know that was fun, because they may continuously say, "Hey, I got this going on." And you might have said to yourself that first time, like, "I didn't like that. And I'm never going to do that again." But it's okay to let them know that that's nice that you like it. And that was good for you. I enjoyed that. But I think I'll stick to what works for me. So that goes back into the no of it all, saying no to non-essential things, because some things just don't work for you that works for others. And what we need to understand too, that it does not include everyone. Your self-care includes yourself. But either way, if you have to make it centered around other people, just make sure you know your stressors, you know your triggers, you know the things that could set you off, that you'll be like, okay, I've had enough, or it's time for me to go, or yeah, it's been real, whatever the words are you need to use to say, I'm going to have to transition myself from this situation, because this is a stressor and it is triggering something where I'm losing my peace, and I have to take care of myself at all costs. So, again, it's not being selfish. I like for people to know that, because I think for far too long we've gone on in situations that we just could not say no to. And that's something I'm sure we all are guilty of. We've been placed in a lot of situations that we just can't say no to, or we haven't said no to, that we should have said no to a long time ago. And so that's what I'm talking about more importantly, you know, figuring out how we can find ways to rejuvenate ourselves, what we can do now. So figure that out in a plan when you know that there's going to be things that, if you have to be around anyone or anything that affects your self care or affects your mental state, have a preventative measure. Have something that you know that you can do in those moments, um, whether you are listening to someone that's complaining, whether you're in situations that you have to be in that are chaotic and dysfunctional, and that's not by choice. That might be just how your workforce or your work environments, or your social environments. Some of those you have to engage people that are mentally dysfunctional, or that's mentally stressed out themselves. So find a way that you can take care of yourself more effectively, and figure out a way that rejuvenates you and leaves you feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. Now, know that it's all about you in that case, and it doesn't take a lot of time. We could take 15 to 30 minutes, do some mindfulness, just focus on the things that are going to help you be more effective in your self care. It's all about taking care of yourself. It's all about you being the better you to help and take care of others. So, once again, I like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Subscribe, please, share, comment. These are conversations I'm having that I want you to help me to understand where you are in these places in life. This is Tracy Howcrumbie, your host with Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. Thank you again for listening and tuning in. Subscribe, please. We're on CTR Media Network. We're on Spotify. We're on my YouTube channel, Beauty for Ashes with Tracy. I appreciate everything that you guys are encouraging me and inspiring me to do, and that are with me, supporting me to do. Thank you much and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.